Michelle Marshall, and this is my cell biology concept map. How I did the map was I divided it into two different subjects that I kind of felt like all the other words kind of played a part in. The two different subjects I picked were atoms and elements. Starting with the element side, what I did was I kind of connected these four words together just because when I divided it here, I did all the elements that were on the periodic table. And so all of these four words kind of play a big role in the periodic table, and radioactive is in some way a part of each element. So I went ahead and just connected those four together. And on the atomic weight, I went ahead and added grams just because atomic weight is in units of grams. So starting with nitrogen, I started right here, and I put identified as the word just because they're all identified on the periodic table. Nitrogen contains amine, then I went to potassium, just left it by itself, and then went to chloride, which chloride contains an anion because it has negativity in it, so I went ahead and added an anion to chloride. I'm going to phosphorus. I know it's part of phosphate, kind of produces it, and it causes phospholipids. Then right here, I just identified sodium, and then went to sulfur, and sulfur, I guess, helps kind of bond hydroxyl. Then I went to calcium, and then calcium I connected to cation because calcium contains positivity in it. Coming down to hydrogen, I split it into two different groups, one being hydrogen bonding and the other one hydrogen ion. They both contain hydrogen in them, so I went ahead and put those two words there. Hydrogen ion, it's needed for the pH scale. And with the pH scale, I kind of divided it into two different subjects, being acid and basic, just because they're both included in the pH scale, and that's what it's divided into. And then I went ahead and kind of joined them right here because they're both inorganic chemistry. From acid, I went ahead and connected amino acids to it, and a building block being amino. Then coming up to the carbon, that's where my graph gets really big because it connects to organic chemistry, because organic chemistry has to have carbon in it. That's the main part of it. So going from organic chemistry, I had a lot of things come out of it, which include carbon dioxide to carbolic acid. Then I went to carbohydrates, which comes to sugars because it's a part of sugars, and it either contains monosaccharides or polysaccharides. It's divided into two right there. Then right here I come down to carboyl, and it produces either adenine or ketone. I'm not really sure how to say these words correctly. And then coming right here, I also put proteins. Proteins are part of organic chemistry. And then coming down here, hydrol, and it is found in alcohol. So I went ahead and added the alcohol right there. And then nucleotides are a big part of organic chemistry, and then also includes hydroxyl, and it produces hydroxyl acid. It helps form fatty acids, and fatty acids contain either unsaturated fats or saturated fats, so I went ahead and put that right there. Also in organic chemistry, I went ahead and connected lipids because it's included, and it helps produce glycolipids. And then just into carbon, not being in inorganic chemistry, I connected methyl just because carbon is one and it's connected to 3 hydrogen, which produce the methyl. And then also identified is the oxygen. Coming to the side, I went ahead and did the subject atoms. The atoms I divided into 3 different things, one being isomers, the other one molecular mass, and the last one being nucleus. Starting with the molecular mass, I went ahead and did the measurement of Dalton because it kind of helps the molecular mass. And then due to the Dalton's formula, I know liters being volume and moles are a part of the formula, so I kind of went ahead and put those as units in there. And then from liters, I went to milliliters because it's a metric conversion. And then from milliliters, I went to meters just because it's a mathematic unit. And then going to moles, I know Avogadro's number it is like the molar deal, and it plays a huge part in the moles. So then molarity came in, and molarity needs moles and liters, so I went ahead and collected the moles to molarity and the molarity to the liters, just because they're both in the molarity equation. And then the last part is I went ahead and did nucleus to atoms and divide into 3 different big parts. Of course, obviously being neutron and protons, which is made up in the inside of the nucleus. And went ahead and also put atomic number again right there, just because the number of protons is what makes the atomic number. And then I went and put electrons, because electrons are in the outside of the nucleus. And then from electrons produce electronegativity, which plays a big part in 3 different types of bonds, which is polar covalent bond, nonpolar covalent bond, and ionic bonding. Ionic bonding, it saw it is actually ionic bond, so I put that there, and it's classified as inorganic chemistry. With polar covalent bond, I know you can divide into triple bond or triple covalent bond or a double covalent bond, so I went ahead and just put those as subfields. And water is classified as a polar covalent bond, so I went ahead and added it right there. Water, then I divided into 4 different parts. One produces water isotopes, producing hydrogen bond network of water, which is divided into cohesion and adhesion. What cohesion does is it creates surface tension, and adhesion forces the water molecule to bond with another molecule. Then I did inorganic chemistry, because it's inorganic chemistry, and then it produces hydronium ion. So that's kind of how I kind of divided my stuff. I know it's a lot, and I talk really fast, so sorry. I'll definitely send a picture of it, just so you guys can see it more. And